She's going on dates with our friend, by the way.
Yeah,
Parker.
she's dating her. Well, not okay. Hold on, she's not dating.
Date.
They went
One
on
date.
a date.
They're going on dates. Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, she comes back to my life after like 10 years, and immediately she's just calling me like a little bitch and shit. I'm like, dude, what? I haven't even talked to you.
That is actually pretty.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, we picked up like nothing left off, but I don't know.
I feel like that's how we are. We can go like a year without talking and then be like, hey, what's up, remember?
Mhm.
Same old.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it is with a lot of people too. Well, not a lot of people,
The
just
good ones.
The good ones, yeah. Most of the.
Hello.
What's up?
Wow, I really have to talk loud in this mic. I need to get a new one.
You want this one?
No?
Does it make a difference without the buffer, the foam?
This dude's trying to stream on Twitch, so
Hello,
he
hello?
wants to know.
Hello?
No, I mean I noticed
Hello.
that makes a difference with mine a little bit.
Are you streaming on Twitch?
Yeah, for fun.
That is actually, I just don't know what it sounds like in the headphones.
You wanna try?
YOLO! We're trying it! Okay. We don't have intros. Do we have like a specific intro that we want to do, or you guys just want to?
I've never done this. I have no intros.
Introduce
do you want,
yourselves.
like, should we do?
Are we filming
Oh.
right now?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh,
We just
okay.
started. I can start it anywhere though. Like I can cut it.
That's
Nice.
fine. Yeah. Do you want us to introduce ourselves?
Please do.
Chelsea, this feels like an interview. Like, tell me about yourself. Like,
It
oh, I
kind
like
of
this,
is,
this,
but
this,
it's
this.
more just like us shooting the shit about a more specific topic, and then
Mm.
people can be like a fly on the wall.
That's fair. Like,
Dude.
Gabsy.
Yeah, like Absidy in the background.
Well, who are you?
Tanner Geddes, 27 years old. Been friends with Chelsea for who knows how many years? How
Since
many?
we were 12.
Since we were 12?
Yeah.
Since we were 12, so that's 15 years.
Wait, so how long have I known you?
I think we met about the same time at like a party in
Giant
6th grade.
Gucci's, dude.
Yeah,
Giant
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Gucci's. It
that's
was like a
fun.
New Year's Eve party or something.
yeah.
I remember that.
So she had like mixed schools there before we were all in junior high, and
Right. Well, I am Tyler Brown. I'm 28 years old. I'm like his older brother, kind of. You know. At least that's what we say around the house, right?
how long have you two known each other?
Since 6th grade, so however old you are in
okay.
6th grade.
Yeah.
11?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that on the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've known each other for a really long time. So, yeah, man, you've been good. You like that?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool. But yeah, what about you?
Who am I?
Yes, I would like to know more about you.
Yeah, right back at you.
Yes, right back at you. If we were doing it, you have to do it too.
Well, switcheroo. Didn't expect that one. I'm 28, lost, finding my way
Mm.
constantly, it
Mhm.
seems, and trying to really foster the friendships that are meaningful to me, which are your guys's and Absidy's and the by proxy friends that join into the group. You know, I just think I'm trying to focus on relationships in my life these days, so that's where I'm at.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Been doing something similar. I'm like one of those people that let's call it boundaries. I'm having a hard time with boundaries.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where you like people are inviting you to all these different things, asking you for all these different favors and whatnot. And it kind of occurred to me a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing what I want to with the people I want to do them with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just
Priorities.
Yeah, it's nice to have that that thought. You're like, oh, I'm missing out on the time that I like want to spend with people, like trying to people please all around. You know, doing that kind of thing. So
I recently had 2 of my closest friends pass away. And so I went through this weird, like, I either became super helicoptery over a couple of my friends, or I, like, completely disengaged from others. And I think it was mostly just out of, like, fear, right? Like, oh, like, if I really love this person and they die, then that's, like, super scary
right.
and terrible. And so, like, why have any friends at all, you know?
Yeah.
But then the friendships I do have that I was like, oh no, like I need to foster the ones I really care about because things like this happen.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it was just like
Quantity
disengagement because
Yeah.
of just afraid people are going to leave.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was also just like, I think, a knee-jerk reaction to losing
For
one
sure.
friend and then another one so suddenly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was at least able to recognize it. Like, oh, why am I texting Gabby 800 times a day? She's probably overwhelmed.
Probably.
But
That's what
I don't
friends
know.
are
I
for.
think you realize that your friends are going through things if behavior changes drastically, and then you're like, oh, okay, like how do we adjust and how do we help them out? And
Mhm.
For sure.
yeah.
You ever had anything like that with me? Where you're like, dude, Tyler's being different. What's up? Like, I gotta act differently. You're probably like one of the only people I know that I could like probably ask that to.
You guys are like brothers.
Yeah, for real,
Yeah.
no, for real.
Wait, so ask me that one more time. What'd you?
I don't know. You know how like you can observe people's behavior and you're like, I'm gonna act this way. I'm gonna change in this way towards him because he seems to be doing a thing.
No, I feel like I kind of treat you and see you the same.
Just always just
But
baseline.
I'll be honest, you're a little this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
We all are.
I mean, we all
We
are.
all are.
Yeah,
But I feel like I've known you so long that I can just like tell,
yeah,
like, oh, this dude's something's going on.
yeah. I gotcha.
Maybe he noticed it more like when you guys were first friends and like he was trying to get to know those parts of you. But
Yeah, but like I said, that was like when we were 11,
Yeah.
12 years old. So like you don't really.
now it's like
dive
the
too
back of your
deep.
hand.
So if we're doing the math, that's like 15 plus years. That's like I don't even know. Like, that's all like a blur and
I
stuff.
don't feel like I'm 28.
No.
I feel like I'm maybe still 15, just in a 28-year-old body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say I feel like I'm still a child and I want to be a child for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I go on like a jog, my knees start hurting. I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Or like like hiking yesterday, walking down hills, like, this is not like I can feel it in my knees. This is terrible.
Yeah. Woke up hungover,
Yeah.
struggling.
Just can't do it like I used to.
That's funny. No, I was at work the other day and somebody said they asked me how old are you? I was like I'm 28. We're like really surprised, and I was like, well, they're like you don't seem 28. I was like, oh, do I look younger? They're like, no, you act younger. And I was like, I don't know if
I
that's a
think
good
that's
thing
the
or a
key,
bad
though.
thing.
Like, age really doesn't matter as you get older. And I got introduced to that because I'm dating someone 20 years older than me. And like, at first, it was super jarring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait, what? Like, I need to process this. I need to, like, it was a topic in my head. And then I
Mhm.
was like, why doesn't he care about this? Because he's realized over 20 years that age doesn't matter. Yeah. And that he still wants to act like his kid's age, which is a teenager, and have fun. And that's how we should all really, like, that's how you best enjoy life. You know what I mean?
Want to know one of our best, I guess, maybe Apps, you can agree with me, our best purchases this year? Lagoon season pass, man.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Before you can't anymore.
I know. Like I could still, I'm not throwing up quite yet on those rides, but
Listen, the last time we went to Lagoon.
also hungover.
Yeah.
Remember that? You brought like Carl's Jr. or something? I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna throw up. Yeah.
It was Questar Lagoon Day or some shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you did not hang well.
Mm-mm.
So I was left on my own quite a bit.
That's funny. How long was that ago?
That was like 4 years ago.
That's funny.
2019, right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That was a good guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I had a shitty boyfriend that wouldn't go with me, so Tanner came in clutch.
Hey, Tanner's good for that.
He is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got a shitty boyfriend? Tanner will be there.
Yeah. Or he'll ditch you at a wedding too.
You do that?
To be honest, yeah.
Wait,
It's actually Kaden King's wedding. That's what she's talking about, right?
Oh,
now.
that's funny.
And Adam's Sweeper thing was in town.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, dude, come to Kaden King, like come to his
Wedding.
wedding, right?"
Mm,
I
yeah.
think Chelsea asked me to go too with her, so I think
Yeah.
I was like also invited. So I invited somebody else,
Naturally.
and my like draw like to get him to come the hook was, "Oh, hey, it's like an open bar." You
Yeah,
know,
I
it's
may
like-
have lied. to
Yeah,
get him
Chelsea.
there.
Yeah, to be fair, Chelsea did.
Oh,
tell me
dude,
open
wait!
bar.
I heard about this. I didn't know you were the one
Yeah,
that relayed the
so
information.
that's
though.
what
I was
I'm
like,
doing.
I
with.
want him to come. It's an open bar.
And like obviously I haven't seen a lot of those people since high school. So I'm thinking, oh, this should be way fun. Like I'm not LDS anymore. I want to drink with these guys openly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like have a good time. Adam, come hang, dude. Let's open bar. Let's go hang out with everybody. We get there and what? It was an ordinary like
Yeah.
donuts and chocolate milk or something like that, right? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't like that, but
Well, the alcohol was in the back.
So that was the thing. In the groom's room,
Yeah. that's
behind
where it was.
doors, they were taking shots
So
of
it's
like out
not
of the
like it
bottles.
was a dry wedding. It
No.
was
Yeah,
just
no, yeah, exactly. But basically, what I'm saying is, it was you had to go search for it.
Yeah.
You had to know who had the stuff. So like I would go do that, and then me and Adam,
and we didn't bring a bottle, so we felt bad too.
Yeah, so I think if I remember correctly, me and Adam sneak into the groom's room, and there's like this much left in like each bottle. I'm like, oh, Adam, dude, I'm sorry. Like I told you it was an
It's
open
Chelsea's
bar.
fault.
Yeah. So,
funny.
anyways, we snuck out to a bar and went and got drinks like during the reception or something like that, right?
Yeah, but that was the dancing portion, and I was like,
Yeah.
where the hell are my friends?
Yeah.
You just were left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still got down. There were still a few of us there.
That was a fun time. That was good.
When everyone took off to the bars.
Yeah.
No, but okay. Like you said, you weren't Mormon anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We all grew up active Mormon, and then you guys went on missions.
Yeah,
Correct.
I
Tell
was
us about that.
the goodest of the boys, the best of the best.
Yeah.
I never did anything wrong.
I remember getting an email from Tyler saying that he'd have to come home and really fight to help his mom not drink coffee anymore or something.
Yeah, I
like
probably said something like that.
Well, you're
Crazy.
in it, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, and I don't know. I always had like a perfectionistic personality, anyways. And growing up, that was my reality. That was truth. That was everything. You know, like God was everything, and what our relationship was meant a lot to me. You know, and I'd kind of say like, you know, after having, and I'm sure we'll get into some of those details too, but after having been through all that, I don't think a lot has changed in that realm for me. It's just like how I identify God or like that, whatever it is. I just view it different. I think I understand it better. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I think that being in the church, it's just a very simplistic way of looking at things. And I think they pride themselves on that. And that's like, oh, great and all. It's like anybody can understand it. But I think they're doing themselves a disservice by simplifying who God is, what God is, and how to like grow with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if I understand my thoughts on it for sure,
Right.
I am curious to know how you were able to see that if you were so far in.
Yeah.
Like, because you're talking about it as an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering where the transition was.
Well, open the door.
Yeah, to you to be like, wait, this might not be the end all be all for me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, realistically, I when it came to this and pretty much anything else in my life, I was incredibly stubborn about. In college, I had a really good friend who was very angry with the church. You know, one of them, right? Like we've all had encounters with one of them. And he sent me all the anti-Mormon literature, all these different things, right? And truthfully, it started wearing on me a little bit. Like, you know, some things were easy to brush off. Some things were easy to like contest. And like, I was really good at contesting. Like Bible bashing was my thing. That was like my favorite pastime of all time.
Was this before or after your mission?
This was after my mission.
So yeah, you spent 2 years studying it every single day, all day.
And I got into it as far as like, I don't know if you were like this on your mission, but like when it was my study time, I was locked in. Like
the
so
Book
locked
of
in.
Mormon was my shit.
See, and I like not only the Book of Mormon, but like the Bible, like I loved reading between the lines and like finding out like what the principle of these things are. But you know, I would say like honestly, it started wearing on me. Like few things here and there, you just find discrepancies in truth or in history, right? And the big thing was at the time I had a girlfriend who I was getting pretty serious with. And I was looking to even marry her, you know,
Right.
like I'd bought a ring and everything like that. And it came to a point where she was like, look, we have different values. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this Mormon thing. It was great. I thought I wanted to do it because I wanted a different lifestyle. But at the end of the day, like, I don't believe in it. Right. So at that point, I had to explore like seriously for myself. Okay, is this something that I wanted? Like, could I do that?
Well, you just pictured your whole life with this person, and then that changed. So it was like a life-changing moment that was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now I need to look into all of these.
Yep.
Okay.
And it was interesting because that all was happening around the same time. Like my buddy coming in, like sending me all this literature and like getting angry with me. We would have screaming matches at each other. Like it was hilarious. Like good friends for sure.
Yeah, but you're both passionate in what you both believe.
Exactly. And he was very passionate about like the fact that like, dude, save yourself kind of thing, you know, like don't be that. And that kind of happened around the same time. So, but that was the catalyst that made me look at it seriously. Okay, I'm going to take everything out. I'm going to look at it, you know, doctrinally, historically. It's like, I want to find truth, and I want to see if I could at least live in a world where, am I going to be Mormon and she's not? Are we both not going to be? Because she's definitely not going to do it. That means temple marriage is out, right? Stuff like that. You know, at the end of the day, that didn't end up working out, but
But it got you thinking.
Yeah, it really got me thinking.
Got
and
the
so
wheels turning.
Yeah, and so from that point on, I really like hundreds and hundreds of hours into just looking at it because I had put so much on it in my life.
Yeah.
You know, like when I tell you like that was life, like the only thing that mattered was like me and God were good. You know, like he'll take care of me regardless.
So was that scary?
Yeah, and I would almost say that it hasn't changed all that much.
Okay.
Like I said at the beginning, like my perspective of who that is different entirely. But I still value that relationship realistically, right? It doesn't look like, you know, a bearded dude in the sky kind of thing, right? I don't know what it is. I don't really know how to articulate that, you know.
Yeah,
for all I know,
that's normal.
Yeah, for all I know, that's like me inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, that relationship continues to grow. And I would like to say, like, I live as if God is real in the sense that, like, you do good things, right? I don't know. Like, you do good things and good things happen to you, right? So that gets a little complex, but I'm sure.
Oh, but I think you've developed your own belief system that isn't tethered to the Mormon Church.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I would say also I'm probably I don't know, that's not everyone's experience. I'd say from everything that I've observed over the last 10 years, my experience is pretty unique. Most people leave incredibly angry.
Yeah.
And it's I think it has something to do with the fact that once you've realized that what you've dedicated your life to isn't divinely led by God, right? It's led by man. It's like imperfect. People have their opinions. It's a business. They have more money than Coke. You know, they have all this money in all these different stocks. They do all these things. It's like very worldly. You get angry, super angry. I never really had that like time period where I was super angry. I just had a time period of like without a foundation. You know, I'd say that was cool for me. That was something, but I was able to step back, and I'm not really sure what sets me apart in that realm, but it was a cool experience to have personally, right?
Yeah, totally. I personally, because I've thought about that a little bit the last few years, just like having been out now for almost 10 years, I have had a lot of friends and family either like go in or come out, you know, of the church. And so I'll just say this one thing always is that a faith crisis is not anything I would wish upon anyone. You know what I mean? When that's your whole foundation of your belief, your existence, all of it, that's terrifying to lose. That's terrifying to have even shake. And so when you finally make the decision to leave something that's so big and has such a large community around you, especially if you're living in the state of Utah, it's woven into the culture, it's woven into everything. It's even harder to leave, it seems like sometimes, you know, if you're here. And I think it's important to talk about though, because like you guys are two very close people who've experienced similar things, but you've had completely different experiences with it, right? So like you both have been missionaries, you've both grown up in the church, you've both done all these things, but your experiences within those are so different, and even your beliefs now, probably. We haven't gotten to Tanner, but I don't know. So it's just, I think, very important to talk about because it is not one lived experience. You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, I know we've talked about a little bit our experiences. I don't know. We have one of those relationships where it's like, I get you. Like, I see you.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have to get into it super much like we have before and everything. So I'm almost interested to hear, like, about your experience in that transition.
My story leaving the church.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue.
I guess I should start with, like you said, it's very personal. Everyone has their own experiences, but we all can, like, connect and, like, understand each other on that sense because it is such a huge culture in where we grew up. But like I was saying, I think my experience growing up was maybe a little different than yours, being that my parents split up when I was very, very young.
Yeah.
My mom was not active in the church. My dad was very active. I spent most of my time with my mom, so every other week I'd go to church.
Right.
So I considered myself, I guess you could say, inactive my whole young, teenage life. You know what I mean? There was moments where it's like, okay, it's time to get my butt into gear. If I want to go on a mission, let's do it. So that's kind of like the last little senior year of high school, whatever time it was.
Well, that was actually a really funny time period because he didn't go to seminary at all and had to make it all up. And so every day he would spend like hours at my house in my basement, like trying to make up the seminary.
Why do I remember being a part of this somehow?
Because I was so mad because I think it was junior year, the first semester, I never went to seminary.
Yeah.
And then towards the end.
That's because that's the year you were at Syracuse.
Yeah. And
we were all going over to Tyler's house during seminary or lunch or whatever period we didn't want to go to.
It's so funny walking into my own home, skipping school myself. And so I go in the basement and somebody asks me, "What are you doing here?" What are you talking about, dude?
That legit happened.
This is my house.
I'm not going to seminary. I'm going home and eat Tyler's food, like go and hang out at Tyler's house. And Lisa, Tyler's mom, would be there and was cool with it. So I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. So I'd like legit, I remember with like perfectly this image. I'm like watching One Tree Hill because I'm like obsessed with One Tree Hill at the time. I'm like in my zone watching it, like kind of embarrassed, but like it's my alone time, so I can watch it. All of a sudden, Tyler, like other friends from Clearfield, all walk in and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "What are you guys doing here?" You know,
I'm not crying.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're interrupting my me time. What are you doing? Anyways, I never went to seminary, right? So whatever. But I remember being in like a physical ed class, lifting in the weight room, and I don't know who it was, but it was like the head seminary teacher, whoever it was, legit pulled me out of class and essentially like threatened me, saying like, "Hey, like you've had this many absences. If you don't come back, like you're out, you're gone." So me being a little hothead, also just actually thinking about it right now, that is like so rude,
inappropriate,
and, like, inappropriate.
Yeah,
right? I'm like a 16-year-old kid. I don't know what I'm doing.
Also, this is seminary and doesn't even count towards your graduation of high school.
It's a home release. It's legit a free period. Like,
yeah,
dude, I can do what I want. Anyways, I took that in a very disrespectful, rude way. So I was like, "Yeah, screw you, dude. I'm not going back."
Yeah.
You know. So anyways, I got kicked out of seminary. That's how that happened. So then I go the whole next semester not in seminary. And then senior year, like all my buddies are going on missions. The age limit changed to 19 to 18. So it's like very fresh on our minds because it's coming up. So I was like, oh shit, like I got to get my act together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did a bunch of packets or some bullshit. I graduated from seminary.
Read the whole Bible, front back.
Exactly. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I grew up very inactive, but also with the mindset like, oh, I'll go on a mission someday. And then, like I said, all my friends are going, I'm going to go.
Was it something your parents encouraged you to do, or it was just more like social pressure?
I wouldn't even say I felt pressured. That's the weird thing. Because like I was like wanting to go on a mission.
Okay.
It was like my own choice for sure.
Because of your relationship with the church.
Yeah. And like there was like things that I can remember of like little events that my dad would make me go to. Like not Trek. It wasn't Trek.
Ugh.
You're right. I've never been on Trek before.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that was.
But it was like
One
one of
for
those
free.
like ward things. Let's go out in the woods and like have some people share their testimony, stuff like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this actually feels pretty good. Like maybe that's a sign I liked how I felt. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that was like my realization. But anyways, what I'm saying is like I never really felt like super in it my whole life. You know what I mean? I never felt like it was in my blood. Like I'm a Mormon through and through. This is my life, because I never really saw that personally, right? So anyways, the way, I guess real quick, back to like why I left the church. During those phases of high school, you know, stuff would happen. I did stuff with a girl. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? We got, yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
I have no idea what
All
it
right,
means.
cool.
I did stuff with a lady.
His girlfriend does, though.
Just getting high.
This happened when I was like 16 years old. You know, time goes by, and like I said, senior year, I wanted to get my act together. Nothing happens with the girl from there. Like, it happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I never talked to my bishop about it, right? I went the whole year, whatever, you know, I thought that was fine. Come time to get ready for the mission, I'm feeling a little guilty. I'm like, hey, I should probably go have an interview with the bishop. You know what I mean? I want to be worthy. I do that. I let him know, hey, this happened a year ago. Do you want me to explain it? That awkward conversation of like details. You know what I'm saying? This guy's like, no, it's been a year. Like, you're fine. Like, don't take the sacrament for a week. Come back. We can talk. And if you're feeling good, you're good to go. So I respected that. That was nice. You know what I mean? It wasn't awkward. It wasn't weird.
Slap on the hand.
Slap on the hand, right? I go on my mission. It's tough. It's hard. You know, Ty, we went through that. You know, it's not the easiest place to be.
No.
But when you're really trying to do it and like you're giving your all, it feels good, right?
Well, it's service, ultimately,
exactly.
right?
I love my mission. I would never take that back.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point in my mission, it's 18 months in. I've been in Peru for a year and a half, working my ass off. And maybe a month before this, we got a new mission president. And this guy was completely different than the old mission president that I had. Pretty by the book, also kind of nervous, didn't want to make mistakes. So like legit was very by the book,
Okay.
right? And I remember it was like general conference or some type of thing that a leader was sharing. Essentially, the message was like, hey, if you're not guilty, I'm sorry, if you're not worthy, you won't have success. Like if you haven't shared your sins or whatever, confessed them, you won't have any success. So me being a 19-year-old kid, I'm thinking about that interview I had with the bishop. I never explained what happened. I never did this. Like, am I not worthy? You know what I mean? Am I not going to have success?
You're like gaslighting yourself.
Exactly. Like, that's like the pressure I put on myself from the things I heard. You know what I mean? Like, I was able to remember something that happened years and years ago and feel bad about it. So anyways, I'm not feeling good. My companion's really, really cool at the time. I'm like, hey, dude, this is kind of what's going on without expressing what's going on. Like, oh, let's call the president. Like, let's go talk to him. So I call him, hey, can I come talk to you? I explain all of this. And essentially the way it went was like, hey, you might be going home for this. After a year and a half of working my ass off, like I was like in a leadership position.
And it's not like you didn't talk to a bishop.
Exactly.
You talked to
and
one.
I explained all of that, but I like legit told him like, hey, I didn't give him details. So
which is none of his business anyway.
Exactly. So in this interview I had with him, he makes me go into details. Like I have to bring it
What
up.
a pervert.
Right? So I have to like explain what's going on. I'm like crying. I'm scared. And this dude is legit, in my eyes, threatening to send me home.
Right. And embarrass you in front of your whole community back home.
There's so many things, you know. So I'm scared. And like also, he's like, I need to send this to my higher ups. I need to get advice from them. You might be going home. In the meantime, don't take the sacrament. So like me as a missionary bringing people into the church, like, see, I am now not taking the sacrament. People are looking and seeing that, like
right after they
like,
just had
oh.
to talk about being worthy.
But they're just like, oh, like what happened to him? Like, what do you know? It's just a big thing, bad experience. I didn't like it. Anyways, after that, things were cleared up. I finished out my mission, really good, loved it, like I said, and came home from the mission. Maybe a year into it, still going to church, doing my stuff, like trying to live the life as a returned missionary.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, at this point in my family, was the only member of the church. My sisters, my mom, everyone had left. You know, I was like trying to pull them back in, and they're like, "No, Tanner, like, we're okay." My dad mentioned something like, "Hey, have you heard what's going on with so and so?" I believe his name was like Joseph Bishop. Joseph Bishop was a mission president back in like the 80s, I think, who then became an MTC president in Provo.
Oh, yes, I heard about this.
Yeah. He was in hot water because a victim had came out who was at the MTC training to go on a mission that he was like violating her. Right? Like doing all this stuff. So like the church is in super hot water, all this stuff's going on, like he's getting sued. But I like paid very close attention to this because I wanted to see how the church would react with all this information with this guy. Nothing happened to him, right? They try to find that victim and like make it like all her issues in the past, they try to blow them up, make her seem like it wasn't valid, all this other stuff. So
discredit her.
Exactly. So I guess long story short, I took that very personally just because of the experience I had, and I was like trying to do my best. But because it wasn't like an embarrassing thing for the church that they could send me home, it was, you know what I mean?
It would only be embarrassing for you and your family.
Exactly. Not their name, not their image, none of that. So it's like, that's not something I wanted to live my life by, dedicate my life, my future family's life. I just, at that point, I was like, yeah. And I started looking into more stuff, literature, all that, everything, But at that point, I was like, it's not worth it to me. Like, I don't agree with this.
I wonder what the point of... I guess I don't wonder. I know the reason. When you're beating people down so much, when they're secluded from their friends and family, they are overworked quite a bit.
You're talking about missionary life?
Yeah, like, to go and just, like... essentially not appreciate all the hard work that you did in that 18 months and be like, and what's even the point? And it's like, well, I've baptized people, or I've like had great conversations with people, and I've done what I'm supposed to do here.
Sure.
Why am I in such hot water just because I didn't give graphic details to someone who shouldn't be needing them?
Sure.
Like, what good does that do?
It brings up a thought. I don't think I've ever like actually had this thought. This is a brand new thought for me, so I'm gonna explore it. Like doing that.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us in the church, like including myself back in the day, stuff like I was like going to be that dude in some way, because like the way I see it is that
you were going to be the dude that would ask
like
for details.
Yeah, you're president.
Sure.
Not for perversion or anything like that, but literally when I was in the church and when I was on my mission, I felt like God was breathing down my neck the whole time. And I wanted so bad to be like him. Because that's the whole thing. It's like, we're trying to be like Christ. And Christ is perfect. And we can't be perfect, right? We believe that here, but we don't believe that here in the church. I never believed that like on a subconscious level, right? I never like really instilled that. I didn't act as if I believed that. I just believed that here. I could recite it to you. I could tell you what I was supposed to believe and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's like you put so much pressure on everything you do, every single detail, at least me, right? Maybe some people, I think the people who really thrive in the church and actually have like good lives and stick to their families and like do good things, they're like capable of like understanding that principle. But me, I couldn't do it. And I think a huge majority of the people out there can't, because I think, if I were in that position and stuff, and this kid is coming up to me and he's feeling the spirit that he has to say something, and there's something wrong, it's like, well, that makes me want to think about it.
Well, and he's already punishing himself enough.
And trust me, like, I'm not saying that that's in the right or anything. Like, I don't think that is, but it's just being lost in the sauce. It's like being lost in the fact that like what matters most of all is you're doing what's right. What is right?
Well, what you've been told is right. Too.
Exactly.
Not what like your own moral compass tells you.
Exactly.
Which I think is way more valuable. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Holy Ghost. Well, what if it's me?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's wrong with, I think, a lot of religious people in general. Not that religion is awful. I think it helps a lot of people, but they get lost in the fact that they stop relying on their own intuition. They stop relying on what they think is best, and like they stop relying on that interpersonal relationship they have with God, whatever that might be, right? And they end up acting as if this new president, like this new president, where they're like, this, I don't know what to do. Like, I have to look at all the books and I have to do it by the book and I have to make sure it's everything perfect. Otherwise, I'm going to be punished, kind of thing. Otherwise, I'm putting your like soul at risk because you haven't done this thing. It's like, it's on me. Well, it's all that pressure.
It's people's literal salvation.
Exactly.
And so that's not just like you can't have a candy bar today. It's like you can't live to the next life. And if you're a parent and your kids are no longer in it, you can't even be in the same kingdom as them, sort of thing. So it's like there's so much pressure to keep your family in it, you're like those around you in it, you know what I mean? Because you want to be able to see them in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And so the weight of it all is just so intense.
Oh, dude. That's why I'm bald. I swear it's why I'm bald. Like, I lost all my hair. And I think that's why. Like, I really stressed so hard about it. Like, sure, maybe a little bit of nutrition, maybe the terrible waters in Mexico City, whatever, all the pollution. But at the end of the day, dude, I was stressing every day of my whole life out there. Not because of anything anybody did to me, but because I needed to be perfect. I needed to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I have so much empathy for people who make all these mistakes in the church. Not like mistakes like this Joseph Bishop guy, but in the sense of like just like trying to be the guy who governs the souls of people they're in charge of. Dude, that's got to be tough.
But
like, realistically,
I think one thing they're really missing is like any sort of understanding about how psychology works.
Sure,
it's taught wrong.
So like personally, again, I think with these type of experiences, they're all very personal.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I just came to this realization right now after sharing that, is I'm grateful that happened to me. You know what I mean? Like, that was shitty. It wasn't like good feelings.
Right.
But looking back at it now is like, who knows if he would have just been like, hey, you're okay, you're good to go. What if he had a different response and I would still be in the church? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy I grew up in the church. I loved my mission. I loved the things I went through. But I'm very happy to not be in the church today. And that I still remember that moment where I told myself, just me, hey, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. That was the biggest weight off my shoulder. Like, Tyler, what you just shared, that you were stressed every day. You had to be perfect. You had to do this. You know what I mean? That sucks.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can do that,
Yeah.
So
the bar is too high.
Yeah. So for just me, like, being like, you know what? Like, screw you, dude. I am a good person and I don't need you to tell me I'm, you can't judge me.
Because I did a human thing with someone I care about or liked or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, that was my biggest thing, where it's like, you know what? Like, I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm going to continue treating people in a great way, try my best to not be an asshole. And that's perfectly fine. So I'm happy that happened.
I was going to say, it sounds like you've found that, right? Yeah. But how have you, kind of to the same as what you've been saying, you've found this new like belief system for yourself. What is yours, or is it still
I'll be
figuring
honest,
it out?
Like we were talking about the mission. It was awesome, but it was hard work. It was draining in every sense that you can think of, spiritually included. So honestly, since that's happened, I'll be honest, I like kind of focus more on my happiness and what I want to do. And I haven't really put much energy towards the spiritual side of things. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I still believe there's something. I still believe, like, there's more that I can learn, but I don't know. No one knows. No. Like,
no one does. Yeah, that's the thing, I think, is that we all believe in what serves us and what comforts us and what works for us individually. I would like to mimic what you said is, I didn't have a bad childhood. I didn't. Like, growing up in the church, it wasn't bad. There were some things I would have preferred to be different at times with like gender roles in that. But I think ultimately I'm just glad that I'm doing what's best for me now at this point in my life. You know, like
the way I describe it, and I really don't mean to be disrespectful, it's just like the way I view it. I think that some people thrive in religion because they're able to disconnect themselves from culture and doctrine, and they do it healthily and everything. I can't discredit those people because they exist, right? And I'm not going to act like this is the truth for everybody, right, kind of thing, because that doesn't exist, including in the Mormon church. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the way I describe it is like, I'm not going to ride a bike with training wheels anymore. I'm also not going to fight in base form if I know how to be Super Saiyan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to happen.
Help
it's
me
just
understand
like,
what you're saying.
It's evolution. That was great. I needed it. It taught me so much things, kind of like it probably taught you. But at the end of the day, it's like, I like riding my bike without training wheels. I can do that now. And because of that, I can mountain bike and I can go down like huge trails and maybe do a backflip and stuff. It's like, that just puts you in a box, I think.
Yeah. Making your own decisions instead of making your decision based off of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I like it still. I mean, I go every so often. I mean, I don't really love going so much, but it is a peaceful place. I read the Bible a ton, actually. It's the principles you learn there. There's something to it. I mean, it is true in some ways, in a lot of ways, not in a literal sense. I think if you're looking at it literally, that's a very dangerous thing to do. But if you're looking at the principles it's trying to teach and you see all of it as one big parable, you're going to get a lot out of it. You know what I'm saying?
That people were murdering each other and like the stuff like that. We just shouldn't be doing that. It is a parable.
Yeah, I think, well,
like,
well, at the end of the day,
the Bible's like, a scary place.
Oh, for sure. Well, like, okay, let's just take this as an example. I'll take like a little bit of time, right? So Moses, right, leads his people out of Egypt, right, and into the desert, which is a super interesting thing because they don't go straight to the promised land, right? Which they probably could have, and they probably could have skipped all that in the story, but they didn't. They did it for a reason, right? And while they're in the desert, which is kind of a state of chaos without any foundation, which is something we all went through leaving the church, by the way. You're in one state, you leave that tyrannical state, go into chaos, just the desert, right? And then you end up in a better place, like the promised land. It's like the same thing that happens in The Lion King. When Mufasa dies, he goes literally into the desert, goes and finds Hakuna Matata later. Anyways, so that's kind of like the base state of that. That's a principle, right, that we're supposed to learn. And then while they're in the desert, all these snakes start attacking all the people, right? And they go to Moses. All the guys go to Moses. They're like, hey, can you like talk to God and like see if he can stop this? And so Moses goes and talks to God. He says, hey, like stop the snakes. And God's like, and the interesting thing is God could have just like made the snakes go away because he sent the snakes at the end of the day. But his directions were to create a bronze image of a snake, put it on a stick, set it in the ground, and anybody who wants to be saved from the snakes has to go look at it. It's like, what do we learn there? What's the principle? Like, don't take that literally. What is the principle? The principle is like, look at the thing you fear most. Otherwise, it's going to bite you, right? You find that. It's like there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible in that sense. And that's what I mean by don't take it literally. Like, look at it on principle. Isn't that
harmful when the narrative is that it is all factual?
That's what I mean. It's like, don't look at it literally. That is harmful.
Yeah, but I think what people only know about the Bible is that it was true.
Exactly.
You know, and so I think it's so easy. If that's what you're going into a nonfiction book with, you just take it literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's I think that's a huge problem. And that's what I have to say about it is like, dude, I'll still read because I look at it that way.
Personally.
Like, yeah, personally, right? Okay. Like I don't.
So you're hunting for the principles and the like value from the story, not to read it as an like historical.
Yeah, like a ledger, book. Like
yeah.
What happens, like, dude, Adam and Eve, who knows? Like the principles in Adam and Eve's story are crazy. You know, if you look at the symbolism and everything like that. And I believe there's a lot of like I said, I've spent a lot of time looking at like why I felt the Spirit reading these things, why I felt the Spirit a part of this thing, because I didn't want to feel like my whole life was a lie, right? And maybe I'm looking really hard, but there's a lot of like historians and people who were religious, people who actually have massive degrees that study the ancient sea scrolls and studied the Bible and found the 44 different missing books that were supposed to be in the Bible that say, look, this is just parables. This is like people who took a lot of shrooms and then put down what they like learned, but like in a way that people could understand it.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they're like people who have studied that kind of stuff. They're like, dude, more than likely, this is just like mushroom rituals
drugs.
And people like yeah, drugs,
trips,
like good drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like
damn
good stuff. Anyways, that's what I have to say about it, and that's what I would think. I still get a lot of value out of it, but in a completely different way than I used to.
Yeah, I can't remember any stories from the Book of Mormon or the Bible because I don't think I was ever listening.
That's fair. It's actually pretty cool.
That's what I hear.
Like, I've honestly had the thoughts, like, you know, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, like all those cool action-packed movie series.
Do it about the Mormons.
If they did a Book of Mormon series, dude, that would be so cool.
Nephi and Laman. Like,
that dude cuts off the guy's head in like chapter 2. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool.
That is pretty
But the fact that we like grew up, that's our religion. This dude's just cutting off heads, like that is wild to me.
And that we're telling little kids about it.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah.
Well,
good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's great though that like we're all able to be so authentic about our own beliefs and have different backgrounds with it and still be able to be really great friends and just love each other still.
Yeah.
You know, and I think more than anything, that's kind of what I wanted to get across with this episode specifically is that like we're all good friends and we have very different values and points of view and it can work. You know what I mean? Like, I think the more we talk to each other and get to know each other, the more we'll care about each other. Say each other again. Each other.
Each other.
Oh, you want me to say it?
I don't know.
Each other. All of us.
But no, I am grateful for you guys being here. And we should end it on a light note, though. What's like a... what's a question I can think of? Tanner, your birthday's next week.
It's true.
You got any fun plans?
We were just talking about that. I want to go camping or something.
Can I come?
Yeah, will you?
I don't know how to camp, but I'll do my best.
You just sleep in a bag. It's a stay warm by a fire.
Okay. I'm bringing Louise, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tyler can't come then.
No, I can come. It's fine.
Well, I'll have my own tent and sleeping bag and all that. Yeah.
Tyler's fine.
Anyways. No.
Yeah. So you're not hyperventilating with the fur in here, so.
No, we're totally fine. I'm like fine.
Sorry
you know
bringing
what I'm
back
saying?
the shit on you, Tyler.
Dude, we were talking. I don't know. Were you rolling when we were
time.
talking about that?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. So at the beginning, we were talking about the fact that everybody just shits on me. I'm like, why?
Tyler's that guy. We love him, but we shit on him.
I mean,
too.
as long as you love me, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't actually. So I was just at Workshop SLC the other day, learning some pottery.
Cool.
And I was meeting new people, and she said something about like, oh, something just give me shit back. And I was like, I wouldn't give you shit if I didn't like you.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we don't like you, you're not going to get shit on.
Every good friendship's some roasts in there.
Yes.
You gotta have the roast.
Yeah. 'Cause it's how
And
you
that's
show
how
you
I feel
care.
loved.
For sure.
And it might, it might be a little traumatic that now I look for that in my romantic relationships, but at the
You
end
want
of the day,
them to bully you?
a little bit. It needs to happen, otherwise I get super bored.
But are you dating nice girls or?
Nah, I'm dating nice girls. Yeah,
So.
all jokes aside, yeah, good
Okay.
stuff.
Well, I'm glad you were here, Obsidy.
Yeah.
How how was it all?
Who spoke better, me or Tyler?
Yes, of course. I'd have to give it to
Yeah.
Tanner too, for sure. Let's shit on me.
Let's have you guys back though, and let's just play like drinking games sometime.
Oh,
I
I'd
like
love
that
that.
a lot.
That'd just be fun. Shoot the shit.
Let's do it.
I like shooting shit.
Okay, and Obsidy can join if you want. Play some games.
I love that.
Okay.